You managed to trick him so many times. How can you be so determined to persevere, to live, when I find it so hard sometimes to just go on? I can sit up and get away. I can drive, go skiing, take a boat or a plane. But you can mostly only travel in your mind. I find it so hard to be generous and kind sometimes, yet you, lying eternally on your back, think only of what you can give, what great service you can leave behind. I could be mad at you, Andy, for next to you, it is I that looks disabled and out of touch. I could be mad at you, Andy, if I didn't admire you so much.
I wrote some notes down because Bob, you'll have to correct me when I get this wrong. I wanted to do something and really think back about a lot of things. This is called Roots in San Marino on Avondale Road. I wanted to say some words about the times and environment in which Andy grew up. They shaped him, and he stayed committed to those values of creativity, invention, problem solving, and genuine helpfulness for his entire life. I first realized that there was something unusual and interesting going on in the Leaf household when I was about 11 in 1952. My parents took me to spend an afternoon at Andy's new digs on Avondale Road. They had a pool. It was just behind the Huntington Estate and Library. I'd been to the old house, spending time with Andy's older brother Dan, my age, and it was nice, comfortable, but nothing like Avondale Road. The uphill Leaf, my father's law client, had hit it big. His Louver Leader company was dominating the glass louver market in Southern California and elsewhere. They worked in bathrooms, kitchens, virtually every room in the house. They fit right into the California ranch house design and California modern architecture. Then sweeping neighborhoods of almost every price range. They were simple, with an aluminum frame that held up well. The glass slats were easy to replace, and they could be made and sold at a reasonable price. San Marino in those days was full of inventors of devices. Around the corner from Andy's house was one belonging to the Hoffmans, inventors of Hoffman Easy Vision television. Remember that? They were a real presence. We all laughed about Hoffman Easy Vision television. Another neighbor invented the new technology pumps for Borg-Warner, and on and on. Of course, the entrepreneur who overshadowed everyone was Andy's immediate neighbor to the south, Henry Huntington, and his San Marino ranch. Huntington's work with his uncle's railroad and then the streetcars in San Francisco and LA Basin is a well-known story. But there it was, the Huntington Library, right over the back fence. You couldn't miss the way the excitement of the 50s made an impact on kids growing up in San Marino as well as Southern California. It was totally infectious. The car culture was getting started and gaining momentum like crazy. The high school car clubs were a big deal. Everyone was doing well financially, and manufacturing was at a peak because the U.S. dominated exports to every corner of the post-World War II world, especially to Europe. People working in manufacturing could afford 2 cars, new homes, even a swimming pool, equipped with Southern California pool technologies. Eisenhower made everyone feel happy and confident, and the interstate highway system started further reinforcing the car culture. Pat Brown commenced the state's water project, a super visible infrastructure initiative that everyone talked about. It's just no wonder that Andy would take from his father and the surrounding immediate community that positive excitement and enthusiasm for business and looking for opportunities. But Andy also had a mother. Jenna Leaf had it all, an accomplished commercial artist with Disney, where she helped produce Snow White. A super warm, outgoing, always positive mom who could never stop talking about my guy Dan, or my guy Andy or Bob. But it didn't stop there. She had a brother who was also cut out of the same piece of fabric as her husband. Up in the state of Washington, a travel fanatic, he comes up with the Love Boat idea and pioneers many of the cruise basics of today. No, not the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth or the Upper Crust, but rather the fun, bouncy music and game party-themed boats that changed the industry. But Andy had other neighbors, Harvey Mudd, Bud Godfrey, David Bushnell, who followed him to Laguna Beach. A whole host of people who invented devices and services. No wonder Andy never stopped exhibiting that same enthusiasm he grew up with. We're lucky, aren't we, that he could take what he could from his roots on Avondale Road and constantly spin that into a full life, and one full of people just like Andy. Great memories from over 60 years for the Ulvestadts, together with the Leaf family in San Marino and Laguna Beach. Thank you.
Washington, D.C., presidential, medical. He was very forerunner in future of medicine. He said, I need you to meet somebody. He took me to meet Andy, and we started a friendship that continued over all these years, mainly Christmas, birthdays, things like that. But I always admired Andy's imagination, and even though he wasn't able to move, his mind moved. And oftentimes I can still remember, being at their lovely home, and the fire was going. It was this time of year, and maybe we'd smoke a little of that marijuana, and the music would play, and I would dance, and he would stream this poetry and prose, and it was just a beautiful experience. And he'd take me to the Newport chili cook-off and Las Brisas, and we just had a lovely time together. And he always believed in me and believed in himself, and I will always remember that and cherish that. So I'm sure wherever he is, he's resilient, and he'll be dancing. Thank you.
We have somebody left on deck. Is everybody who'd like to? Oh, yes, we do. Natalie's coming up. Was all right? No? Okay. Thank you, Natalie.
Hi, everyone. Well, I was Andy's youngest caregiver. I'm only 19. I got to see the kiddish side of him because I brought to him the fun side. Like, he would watch Frozen with me, Cinderella, Tarzan, all the good movies. He really impacted in my life. I would spend with him 24 hours, 12 hours, all day, all night, summer. And I got to meet Andy this year after his birthday. And we really bonded. He was a great person. He talked about everyone is in here. I would write the emails. People didn't know that. But those emails, I'm like, oh, okay, I know who you are. He was just a great person. He was always positive. When he was sick, when things weren't going right, he would get upset, but we would always think positive. We would think of ways, and he never gave up. But everybody gives up at some point, but he was happy. He knew he was ready. And yeah, we got to do what other people, I gave him the fun side. We would eat In-N-Out, and yes, see pizza too. He was like, that's the great pizza. And I just loved Andy.